All right, Buff fans, we continue our opponent previews, and here at Big 12 Media Day in Frisco, Texas, ran into Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle, and we're going to talk about the Houston Cougars, who the Buffs will play in Week 3, the first conference game. It's a little bit of an earlier conference game, and a Friday night down in Houston, which in September, Friday night in Houston, I've never been to Houston, Joseph, but it seems like that's going to be hot.
You know, you'll get the tail end of summer. But summer usually goes to December in Houston. Yeah. So, but, Fridays are sacred in Texas for high school football. So it's going to be interesting how they do that. But if anybody can maybe take some of the attention away, it's Prime and the Buffs would be interesting. But yeah, it's one of, I believe, 4 non-Saturday games Houston has on the schedule this year.
Wow, that's a lot. And Houston is a team that, the transition to the Big 12 has been a little rough so far. But Willie Fritz comes into, year number 2 with that program. And bumpy last year. Offensively, they stunk. Defensively, they were pretty solid, but lose a lot of guys. But there's been a lot of transfer movement, a lot with a lot of teams, but a lot with Houston. Where do you see this team right now coming into year 2 under Coach Fritz?
They should be much improved. I mean, you hit on all the low points. I mean, this was the nation's worst offense. They knew what they had to do in the offseason to get better. It starts with quarterback. They got Connor Wegman, 3 parts of 3 seasons at Texas A&M. Just he's never been healthy, and he lost the job. So I think the change of scenery, he's from Houston. It's the Big 12 now. I think it's good for him, and I think that's where it'll start. He's got some good pieces around him. They loaded up on the offensive line. They look like a Big 12 team now with size. I mean, I think they're like maybe 6'7", 305, 310 is the average, so they needed to get bigger, and then they can run the ball now. And that Willie Fritz likes to run the ball and mix in a passing game. They didn't really have either last year. When you only score, I think it was 14 points a game, you're not going to win a lot of games. So offense was the key, and then filling some gaps on the defensive side.
They had a really good safety last year. A.J. Halsey, I think is how you say the name. All Big 12. Ends up leaving for LSU, so that's a big loss for them. But defensively, like I said, I think they were top 25, but lose some guys. How are they going to be defensively?
Well, the wild part is on Halsey, he went through the spring game. He's walking off the field right afterwards and announces, I'm in the portal. So, I mean, this is how quick things change. Shield Wood was a defensive mastermind for them last year. Now they're going to face them at Texas Tech this year. Yeah. So things really change, but the great thing is they could go in the portal, and it's like putting a quick shopping list together, running down to the store, picking this off the shelf, and you can kind of overcome some of those things. You used to not be able to do that. But up front, they had Eddie Walls. They brought him in on the D-line, and then basically they're going to have an entirely new secondary, but it's not quite the top 25 defense they had last year, and we really don't know what they're gonna offer this year because we haven't really seen them. Yeah. So that, to me, we know the offense will be better because it can't get any worse. I think that can they reach the 6 wins for bowl eligibility will depend on how much they can prevent from taking a step backward defensively.
Yeah. Can they be a bowl team? I mean, Coach Fritz, I think a lot of people don't, at least Colorado fans don't know about him as much. He did a great job at Tulane. Again, it's been rough so far at Houston, but I feel like he's a great coach. I mean, is he a guy that's going to get them back to where they're in bowl games?
Well, the reputation is that he's a program builder, and this was going to be a building job. And year 2 is usually when you see that step. They went 4-8 last year. Can they get 2 more wins for bowl eligibility? Looking at the schedule, yes. I think that they can not only get 6, they'll pull out maybe a game here or there that maybe they should win. Maybe that early season Colorado game. You look at it, it's at home, it's early, you're still getting a feel for your team. Colorado doesn't have some of the guys that they had from last year back that were the playmakers. So just picking a game like that, if they can get to 6 wins, that's where you want to be if you're Houston. I don't think they're competing for conference championship at this point, but the ceiling should probably be in that 6 to 7 win, and I would be shocked if they are at 4 wins or worse from like they did last year.
We were kind of joking. Houston's a basketball school. I mean, they were in the national title game. How is the football program supported down in Houston? And is that going to be a good atmosphere down there?
Well, when they're supported and they're really good, things get exciting. Back in 2015, Tom Herman was there. It was the H-Town takeover is what they called it. They were getting 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits. City was buzzed, and that's hard to do. You know what Denver's like in that area outside of Boulder with pro teams. they had to carve out their little slice of it, and then when they got bad, everybody sort of jumped ship or didn't really pay attention, and basketball has kind of taken that mantle. Football, I think, is in a good position because they have gone all in on revenue share. The percentage is going to be roughly about what you see the national average is going to be, close to that 67, 68. So that's money they didn't have. That's money they can offer, and those players that they can get. Texas Tech gets a lot of headlines for what they're doing. NIL, I think Houston, for what they have and bang for the buck, is a team to watch out for, because now that they can start maybe paying a little bit more or doing their part, you're going to see some kids that want to stay home that are really good players, and that I think that'll make a big difference for Houston.
And then last thing for you, Buff fans, they don't go to Houston. Buffs haven't been there in a long time. Give me something the Buff fans can do that are making the trip down to Houston.
Well, I mean, NASA, if you're into that, that's about a 35, 40-minute drive from the campus. Galveston, it's not the most picturesque beach, but if you're into the beach scene, otherwise, plenty of Texas barbecue and a lot of Tex-Mex food. So it's a commuter city. Expect traffic. You're probably gonna have a lot of delay. If you get an Uber, it's probably gonna cost you a lot of money. But no, it's known for its the types of food, and you can pretty much grab a little bit of everything. So do your homework, research it, because you probably will find whatever you need in Houston.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. And Buff fans, we'll see you in Houston later on this year.